Okay, first things first, gonna put the diff back in. With your fingers, it should just quote unquote should drop right in. There we go. I'm not going to put it all the way in yet. That's what he said. Because all this I know I didn't clean it, there's a lot of stuff I skipped, but like I said, this isn't going in any vehicle anytime soon, so if it was going to be, then definitely going to be a lot thoroughly cleaned, thoroughly inspected, stuff's going to be replaced and so on and so forth, so don't trip out on me on that. This is just being a garage queen for right now. There we go. Okay. There we go. Cool. Shift forks on. Stuff up again just a little bit. Good, good, good. Then, excuse me. Put this plate back on. Oh, and actually, so this thing. These headed bolts, these are actually 11 millimeter, not 10. Unless you figured that out already. I'm sorry about that. Now, right off the top of my head, I do not know the torque specs of these. I'm sure it's on the master manual. I'm trying to remember, because I just looked at them before making this video. I didn't even really see torque specs for these. I'm sure they're there somewhere, but you gotta love how those manuals like to label things. But definitely nothing crazy. So, in fact, I know people who reassembled these never even ran torque specs on them. I don't recommend them, but you know, I'm talking like specific drag car. Grab the right one on this. Oh, that was. Give me 1 second. Sorry, no, it was 10 millimeter. I didn't think that socket head mattered. I guess wrong. So 10 millimeter for sure, but you need the socket head if you have it, or if you have the open end wrench. Well, good thing I didn't strip that out, huh? All right, and no reverse idler. Where the heck that thing went? Oh, there it is. Okay, top, bottom. Make sure it's in there fully seated. Just because of what gear it's in. Or do I have this on? Oh. What's going on here? Oh yeah, just do that. There we go. Well-oiled machines. Remember, the center one closest to the shift forks is shorter. The outside two, here, I'll just show it to you guys. I don't feel comfortable just telling you. So, if you're in my situation to where we have one short one out of the two, short one goes there, and then the two longer ones go there and there. Thread it. Alright, this lift this arm up, put it through here, drops in just like that. Oh, now for the fun part. This thing, if I can do this better than I did the first or second time I've ever done this, then cool. So there's going to be, here, I'll show it to you guys. All right, so the bottom of this thing fits into this hole. And the tricky part is going to be, you got to get that under here, and then that centerpiece in the center of all these shift forks. And then the cool part is you're going to put the case back on, and hopefully this top part right here goes into, I believe, that slot right there and not move or pop out of this hole. So I'm gonna try it. Okay, so when reassembling all this on, remember the middle one, this is gonna be the short bolt, the long bolts right here. Short bolt, long bolts. Make sure this arm is on the reverse idler pulley, and then I'm gonna try to see if I can film this. So this arm moves, but it has to be in, if you guys can see, if it focuses, sorry if it isn't, I'll show you guys the function of it though, hopefully. It needs to be in a groove of this bottom part right here. I know you guys can barely see it, but if you looked at it, it'll make sense. So this arm, so for example, when I go to manually shift this, it moves that. So that's how this whole thing should be put. Now I'm going to be putting this part in. Okay, so for this, sorry, it's a little difficult doing it with one hand. All right, so this is the bottom part, top part. So this little hitch looking thing needs to go underneath that. And then this slot right here needs to go through that. This is probably gonna be impossible doing it with one hand, so give you guys an idea. Oh, maybe not. Oh yeah, kinda. All right, so that goes in like that, and then I gotta readjust this to where this part slides into here. All right, I got it. So the trick is getting this slot here, that there, that underneath all three of these forks, and then this dowel inside the hole that's bottom right there. Now it's kind of hard to test it out to see if it works to be able to shift stuff here and there, because this thing will move around. You need actually the half case to be able to hold this in place to be able to shift it. So that's kind of like the test right there to see if everything's working in place or not. So I'm gonna continue on and put the half case on and then see where we're at from there. Okay, the half case is back on. So basically use these shift guides right here as a guide coming back through the holes up top here. And so this thing should be flush with the bell housing. If you're pushing down and it's stuck and it's not working, then try shifting it while pushing down. If everything is put back together, especially that shifting mechanism, then you should be able to shift it no problem. If not, then you have a problem somewhere. Then make sure everything spins. Good to go. Now I'm going to reassemble this. All right, putting fifth gear back together. Counter shaft, don't lose that. Slides on. So, key note here, one is more concave than the other. The concave end faces upward. Okay. Counter shaft, lock nut. Right hand threads, righty tighty, lefty loosey. There, that's where I had it last, so where I hammered this in to lock it in place, and then here, slide it on down. Okay, same deal with this. Concave facing up, then left hand threads. Lefty tighty, righty loosey. Get the shift fork. Oh, so keynote with this. I don't really want to screw it. See if you guys can see here. So if this, for whatever reason comes off, this collar here, the grooves, hang on, it's not focusing on camera. Come on, focus. Focus, I say. All right, so, I'm sorry guys, it's not focusing. So if this comes off and you're putting it back on, you're having troubles looking at it, the grooves are different on each side. So the narrower ones, or the more shaped ones, the narrower bottom side, goes towards the bottom. That makes sense. The flatter side on this end goes up top. There it goes. Now it kind of focuses. See if you guys can kind of see it. This is the bottom end. Top end. And this thing is kind of a pain to put on with the shift fork. So you just try to rotate it and just till you find it, and it should just slip right on. Another way too, if you guys find the markings, doesn't hurt just to like mark down what goes to what, just for reference to make it a quicker thing, which I probably should have done, but I didn't even think about it. There we go. Okay, and then get that pin. This thing right here, I'm not tripping over myself. Now, from what I found, it doesn't really matter what way you go in through. So let me go out the way I punched it out. Make sure you have the holes lined up. Now, let's tighten these up. So remember, counter shaft is right hand threads, lefty loosey, righty tighty. Doesn't need to be too crazy. And then main shaft, left hand threads, lefty tighty, righty loosey. And that's it. And then stake them. You know what I'll do? I'll just turn it to where it's to almost a pre-existing one. There we go. Better than creating a new one. Good. And same goes for this one. I'll just realign it back to where the old one was. Perfect. I don't want to move. That was interesting. I guess when I went to go tighten up the nut a little bit, just so I can lock it in place, I actually tightened it so tight that it wouldn't rotate by hand. So I've never come across that before, so keep that in mind. Good, good. Let's see here. So, perfect. Okay, so that should do it for that. Test to see if it still shifts, no problem. Okay, cool, no problem there. So, remember, if you guys can actually find online or get at your local auto parts store to get the actual replacement gasket for all this, that would be awesome. If not, I highly recommend Honda Bond or any other anything like it, like RTV, whatnot. Make sure this is a very clean surface. Clean it out real good on both this as well as this, and then apply it, and then put it on, and then allow about 24 hours to seal. Okay, so now I'm gonna put the snap ring back on here. No, it probably isn't the right way, but cool. One end locked. And then I know this isn't a new one, but throw in a new axle seal. And get like a rubber mallet or something. Good. And then get all the bolts in order. Now, oh, yeah, that can happen too. Be careful, springs fall out of these things. Oh yeah, it would help if I had the balls, huh? It would help if I had the balls, that's funny. Alright, I didn't even realize the video cut out. I only have a couple minutes on here left before I gotta start deleting space. So anyway, so yeah, once all these are down, just throw in the reverse idler light, all the other stuff, your VSS sensor if you need to, snap ring, I think I already covered that, detent springs and all that, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. Then this thing can be ready to slap back on the engine and then fill it up with trans fluid and you're good to go. Now on the topic of trans fluid, I will say that on all my A20s, for all the years that I've owned them, I've only ran non-synthetic 1030 oil. Excuse me, I wouldn't mind running a synthetic. I just been running 1030 nons for a while and it's cheaper and stuff like that. I've never had problems. People recommend running the Honda designated MTF fluid. I have before on both my Civic with the D16 as well as this on the A20 one time, and I don't know. Like, I just didn't like it. The shifts felt not as smooth as I thought it was, and I changed my transmission fluids a lot, in closer intervals than required. So I noticed that it burned more than it did with 1030, with far less mileage on them. And same goes with the D16 as well. So I'm probably just going to either stick and recommend running 1030. And the master manual, it actually gives you recommended specs and what to run. So I know there's guys out there that'll like swear on the Honda MTF, but after doing some research, like there's different formulated Honda MTF fluids, all over the place. I'm sure I can find which one is needed for this, but I'm like, I don't want to really go through all that. So I mean, if I'm not running 1030 in either this, then I'm going to be running Pennzoil Synchro Mesh, which I've ran in the D16, which I absolutely love, and that's the only trans fluid I've actually used, or oil, that I've noticed a difference in drivability. I'm about to do a fluid change on the Civic, so I'm going to see how well that stood up to the test of time. And a lot of people that I see in the race world and engine building world, they recommend, like, if you're not running, if they're not going to be using Pennzoil Synchro Mesh, then they're going to be running like Torco RTF, which is like designated race trans fluid, which is super expensive. I don't really recommend it if you're just daily driving or doing little things here and there. But like, I've never had problem running Synchro Mesh or 1030 oil in any Honda transmission that I've ever had to run it in. So there is that. And that'll conclude this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.